Morning, students. How are you? I wish that you are fine wherever and whenever you are. So let's complete explaining the story of the Chenoo. As we said before, there were a woman and her brothers traveled to the north to bring some furs and meat for the winter. The men used to go hunting, and their sister stays at home to just take care of it and prepare any game to be caught. And the third day, the two brothers discovered footprints for someone to the place where they live. They followed and inspected the track to know who is this. So, next, the men realized that the footprints are directed to the camp in which their sister stays. So she's in danger now, and this is why they decided to hurry up going to the home to just discover what happened there. Then the woman heard a strange sound of breaking the branches. She saw a huge Chenoo standing there. It has a large gray body covered by thick hair and sticky sap of pine tree. It tried to grasp and catch Nolka by its bony fingers. Nolka thought that it was her grandfather and asked him, "Where have you been?" The Chenoo was wondering with a growl that how come a human being can talk in this way. So later he was surprised to know that he has a granddaughter. So what did you think about Nolka's behavior, guys? So we analyzed this part before, and we said that she just did this because she was so afraid of him and she was worried to be eaten. So she decided to make a trick and just trying to make him wait till her brothers go back from work and then they can help her. So she just did a trick until her brothers go back from hunting and save her from being eaten by the Chenoo. She invited him to get inside the lodge, and he actually entered, crawling on its hands and knees. The man returned, and they were completely worried about her sister. So this is why they returned in a fast way. When they saw her, they told her about the footprints that they saw in the clearing. And they were worried and confused about her, especially they were in the direction of the lodge. The footprints were in the direction of the lodge. At that time, Nolka pointed her finger to the lodge and she let them get inside the lodge. He said that our grandfather has finally arrived to the lodge. This made the two brothers so confused. Then the Chenoo asked them to bring him more rocks, and he was so happy that this lodge contains a lot of piled rocks. After that, as you see in page 718, trying to read, guys, I will give you 5 minutes or 3 minutes to read this page. So as you see, after they let him prepare the rocks inside and put them and fill them with water, they just get out. This girl, Nolka and her brothers, so they left the house, and she tried to ask her brothers to go and run as a kind of trapping him. So they decided to trap the monster, the Chenoo, inside, and then they can run, escaping from him. Now, she said, now is our chance to make a run for it. Nolka whispered to her brothers. The three of them began to quietly sneak out of the camp, but they hadn't moved quickly enough. Why? Because the Chenoo said, "More rocks, bring me more rocks, open the door." Nolka ran over and swung open the flap of the lodge. Because Ausus and Casco proceeded to bring for to bring in 4 more loads of rocks. Then, after the 4th load, the flap to the lodge was again closed. As soon as the door was closed, the sound of hissing steam came again from within the lodge. And just as before, just when they began to sneak away, the Chenoo shouted for them again. Open the door! More rocks! More water! Yes, grandfather, we are coming. Quickly, Elses and Casco brought more rocks as Nolka ran to the nearby stream to refill the beach bag pocket. When they opened the door to the lodge, huge gusts of steam flowed out so thickly that only thing in the lodge they could see was the Chenoo's huge arm as it reached out to grab the freshly filled bucket of water. Closing the flap again, all 3 siblings, and we said before the sibling means brother and sister, so the 3 siblings means the girl and her 2 brothers. The 3 siblings agreed it was no use trying to run. The Chenoo would only call for them again. And sure enough, it did open the door, more rocks, more water. So they were afraid to run so he can go and catch them. This time they brought in every rock from the fire, even the rocks the Chenoo would pass out. Standing by the lodge, they listened closely, but to their surprise, as the hissing sound of the water hitting the rocks got louder and louder, and the Chenoo began to sing. So the Chenoo kept singing for some time, and they were wondered why he was singing. And then it paused to pour more water on the rocks before it sang again. And this time the Chenoo sang, they noticed that his voice became to be changed. It seems as loud. Again, they hear the sounds of steam rising as water was poured on the stones. So in the beginning he had a very loud voice, then this voice would become to be calmed down. That voice was much softer now, so soft that it sounded like the voice of an old man. So after he complete singing and he finished, grandchildren opened the door. A little voice called from inside the sweet lodge. Also lifted up the door flap. A huge gust of steam blew out from the lodge, knocking him backward. The steam rose into the air. Little old man crawled out from the lodge. As he stood up, the little old man began to cough. He coughed until he coughed up a huge piece of ice in the shape of a human heart. So as you see here, guys, this is the piece of ice that it's shaped on human heart. After the older man or the Chenoo he coughed in a long way. After he coughed for more long time, he just released this piece of ice out of his mouth, and there is a symbol here because after it fell in the ground in the heart-shaped piece of ice, it was the bad spirit of the Chenoo. So this sign, this piece of ice, it symbolizes or represents the bad spirit of the Chenoo. And after the old man got rid of it, so he returned to be a normal human being. He became an old man again. So he said to their grandchildren, to just his grandchildren, thank you, my grandchildren. You have saved me. I'm no longer a monster. Now I'm truly your grandfather, said the old man with a smile. So Nolka and her two brothers took the old man who had been a Chenoo as their grandfather. They brought him back to their village where he quietly and peacefully lived out the rest of his days. So this is the end of our story, but we have to know a short piece of information about this story as a kind of legend. The Chenoo is a legend from the Passamaquoddy, a Northeast American Indian people. So, Passamaquoddy, it means Northeast American Indian people. And in this article, we will know more about this legend. The legend of the Chenoo has been passed down from generation to generation by the Passamaquoddies, people of the Northeast North America. The early Passamaquoddy moved from place to place throughout the year to follow the herds of animals they hunted. Despite their frequent movement, the Passamaquoddy remained within one general region. Their eastern location allowed them to be among the first to see the rising sun each day. Because of this, they became known as people of the dawn. Today, Passamaquoddy reservations are located in eastern Maine in two locations, Pleasant Point and Indian Township. These reservations are within the same region where previous generations of Passamaquoddy people lived and traveled. As you see in the map here, guys, this is the place where the Passamaquoddy people lived, and they are the people who invented this story. They have the legend of the Chenoo, and then this story passed from a generation to another one. Thank you for listening. I wish that this video helped you to understand the story well. If you have any question or any interpretation, you can send me directly. Thank you, guys. See you in next videos.